Mr. Suraj Cherukat, Head Sales and Marketing at Hailstone Innovations Private Limited. Mr. Suraj is a business development strategist and has experience in sales operations and is a specialist in that zone. He also has an international experience in developing and implementing strategies to improve operational performance. His core duties include expertise in bringing transformational changes in capital equipment and heavy machinery in mining, aggregates, and construction industries. Today, Mr. Suraj will talk about business opportunities from roads, bridges, and highways. So, delegates, let's welcome Mr. Suraj.
Basically, I'm using this opportunity to just go through a brief of what the latest union budget was, because how promising is 2023 in an infrastructure equipment perspective, because basically capital equipment perspective, how good it is going to be. So I will basically just guide through few of the key inputs from the union budget, which was being presented by Sri Nirmala Sitharaman. Basically, with regards to the infrastructure and development of roads, bridges, and railways in India. So basically, on it's India being a growing economy, this time they are very much focused on a GDP growth somewhere around 9.2% in financial year 2023, which is among the larger economies. This is the biggest. So let's hope this will be an achievable target for the organization. And if you look into the previous GDP and all these things, GDP was 17.6 in financial year 22 in plan. And what was achieved post-pandemic, or even though in the second and the third wave of the COVID, it was 13.7 in April to September 2021. And it was 5.6 in the second half of the 2022. So this is a promising figure, and the percentage project growth will be somewhere around at least 8 to 8.5 from the industry expert when compared to the 9.2. So when we look into the economic survey, even though there was basically some issues due to the COVID-19 pandemic, industry was seeing a boom. Construction industry was always affected due to the COVID situations, basically because of the lack of projects, movement across different areas before the process and all these things. But then also the later phases were showing a good progress. So manufacturing sector is expected to grow by 12.5%. And specifically mining and quarrying, which supports to the manufacturing or supports to the infrastructure through the raw materials, is expected to grow by 14.3%, which will in turn help the construction to grow by 10.7%. So that is of a very brief, and again this is a simple representation of how much the same data which I was mentioning previously. So now when we look into the impact of budget on capital equipments, a production linked incentive scheme has been set by the government, and a certain and a certain customs duty increase also been made into the capital goods, which in turn will reduce the import, and the in domestic manufacturing segment will be seeing a better growth. So more investment will be coming in the capital goods sector, basically because of the infrastructure development which is having to happen, and the greenfield and new brownfield projects which will be happening in the coming year. The most wonderful and the specific plan of central government is going to be Amrit Kal. As you know, now we are enjoying, or now we are at the 75th year of our 75th year of our independence. So there is a very definite and certain plan which has been provided for the coming 25 years. Basically starting from the 75th year to the 100th year, the century of the celebrations. So the Amrit Kal is going to be the most prominent plan for the current government as well as the future governments. The vision of Amrit Kal being reducing the divide between the development of the villages and cities, like developing villages into tier 3, tier 2 cities, as well as developing the infrastructure and all the facilities which is available based on primarily sustainability. So four more priorities has been created. First one is the PM Gati Shakti, which was already announced some time back. Second thing is the inclusive development. Third thing is productive enhancement and investment, sunrise opportunities, energy transition, climate action. This is particularly because we cannot keep sustainability or green energy away from what we are developing. The world should be ready for the future generations also. In the name of the development, we should not be hammering their things and financing of investments. So Amrit Kal, the coming 25 years is going to be very critical and wonderful for us. First and foremost development or initiative which has been taken care by the government is a National Bank for Financing Infrastructure and Development, specifically NBFID. This bank is very much focused on financing big infrastructure projects, which will make the normal commercial banks who take risk or for whom financing such projects will be risky. So the entire segment of the economy where the financing will happen from the NBFID, they will directly or indirectly lend, invest or attract investments for infrastructure projects located entirely or partly in India. Even for like PPP, more focus will be given on PPP, public-private partnerships, and even the other project schemes such as central government, state government, and private parties participating together is also in focus. NBFD will also be focused on refinancing the existing loans of various construction companies, or let's say various projects which are on a halt will be refinanced and they will be again started back to completion. Consultancy services for infrastructure financing will also be taken care by the NBFID. Now we come for the one of the very important and prime thing of PM Gati Shakti. PM Gati Shakti, as PM already had mentioned, it is driven by seven engines. Roads, railways, airports, normal ports, mass transportation, waterways and logistics, infrastructure. This PM Gati Shakti, which was already announced, will be focused on the major funda called as Sabka Prayas. Sabka Prayas means there will be the central government investment, there will be the state government investment wherever the strategical location of the states which are focused on, and there will be a private player. So it can be considered as a PPP with central government as the state government. So very prime thing of one thing is completion of 25,000 kilometers of national highway. Already, as we know, national highway construction speed has been increased from 28 to 31 per kilometer a day. So it will be increased more. Unified logistics interface platform. Logistics interface platform, we can say logistics parks or logistics hubs are going to come. Specifically in India, 4 major locations have been identified for logistics hubs. So that will be coming into a prominent thing. One station, one product. This is basically in relation to the agricultural development of the nation. So the connectivity of railway tracks and railway lines towards the agriculture will be improvised. Where one station, one product. Various stations will be identified which can act as a collection point for the cultivated materials, and it can be transported to different points, and the transportation of the logistics of the agricultural products are made easier. Multimodal connectivity between urban transport and railway stations, that is obviously in plan. So all together, 20,000 crore of fund will be invested, and that can be mobilized for various purposes. Bharatmala Project, which is already in line. Economic corridor, as mentioned, it is already happening, but 9,000 kilometer the new roads will be constructed. That is, the existing roads will be improvised or something to make into economic corridor. Then inter corridor and feeder route of 6,000 kilometer. National corridor efficiency improvement of 5,000 kilometers. Further to that, the one of the prominent thing is border roads and international connectivity. Because as we know, we are having some tensions with all our bordering countries, specifically Chinese borders and all these things. And Northeast, and already Northeast, there is a specific plan already proclaimed. But so the international connectivity, the border things, which is strategical as well as beneficial for the people who stay there, has been given focus. Coastal roads and portal connectivity. As our ports are getting improved, the need of logistics connections to the port from to the hubs are keen. So that is also being considered. Greenfield express highways. More than 5 new express highways are planned in India. So these express highways are basically greenfield. You know already, like Delhi-Mumbai express highway and everything is in construction, which was a greenfield one. New greenfield ones are also in plan, and national HPD, normal balance works also continued. Sedu Bhadram project. National Highway. National Highway Authority of India has decided to make all national highways in India free of railway level crossings. So what we expect of our national highways will be achieved from that. There won't be any railway crossings in the national highways so that there is no traffic blocks or no connectivity or logistical issues. Right now, 208 railway overbridges and railway underbridges altogether have been constructed as part of the program. And furthermore, 64 has been announced. So the target of the National Highway Authority of India is to bring the nation free of railway crosses on any of the national highway. Mumbai Trans Harbour Link, it is a project which is happening in Mumbai, and this is basically for the improvisation of the ports and the connection to the airport and all these things. Rashtriya Rajmarg Silla Sanjog Pariyojana. This is again basically for the connection of all district headquarters. Tier 1 cities, Tier 2 cities. Apart from that, as part of Amrit Kal, the primary aim is to reduce the divide between the villages as well as the cities. So all district headquarters, all rural areas, and those areas has to be connected to further developed areas across the nation. So for that only this particular scheme of 6,600 kilometers has been planned out. Chardham Highway project, it is basically happening in UP. The connection of different these things, that is another project which is happening. Now, specifically for Northeast, PM's development initiative for Northeast, PM Devan, it's PM Devan, which is specifically, Northeast is becoming a new market. Northeast is the particular place in India which is seeing highest infrastructure growth, highest growth and all these things. For every construction equipment company, the huge potential markets are basically Northeast, starting from West Bengal, those other 7 states. And even there is a huge possibility of materials and raw materials getting exported from Northeast to Bangladesh and Myanmar because of the specific geographic conditions. So Northeast and boom in Northeast and the development of Northeast is also providing good opportunity with respect to construction industry. Sagarmala project, as I was clearly mentioned in this one, there are a large number of projects, large number of ports are getting developed, and interconnectivity between these ports are also made into a focus so that the cargo transport, the exporting process, and all the logistics things are getting easier. The next comes one of the very important new project which will be happening in approval to the state governments. This is this have been technically passed, but only these projects will get into live after the approval from the individual state governments also. 5 river linking projects are on focus. One is Godavari Krishna, Krishna Pennar, Pennar Kaveri, Damganga Pinjal, Paratapi Narmada. So Krishna became the 4th largest river in India. It starts from Maharashtra, it flows to Karnataka, Telangana, Andhra, and enters into the Bay of Bengal. Kaveri originates in Kodagu and flows through Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. Penna originates in Chikkaballapur and again Andhra Pradesh. So all the major 5 river linking projects have been announced, and these are going to create a huge revolution in the irrigation facilities, agriculture, and a drought of various areas will be controlled. But these have been formulated proposed by the central government in the budget, but individual states also has to give the approval. So the project discussions is actually in line. Other government initiatives are basically what I said, the normal, the other things like National Survey Vehicle. Those things are basically for the improvement of the roads. NSV, National Network Survey Vehicle, to enhance quality of the national highways, carrying out road condition survey using NSV on national highways was made mandatory to certify completion of the project, and every 6 months thereafter. Due to the NSV, the qualities of the national highways has improved a lot, because every 6 months there is an audit of the national highways, which thereby reduces any damage and issues. Also, there are now the clean energy and the green energy concept has improved a lot. So electric charging stations are also in plan, and it basically this is different type of aggregates which will be needed for the construction of roads and all these things. It is normally the one. If you do large number of infrastructure projects are happening. Mobile crushing and screening up to 250. The same thing for the quarry materials. Majority of all the construction companies will be creating. All the construction companies will be going for 50-50%. 50% will be creating, 50% of the material they will be buying from the outsourced Korean contractors. So logistics costs when oil plants and all these things are used. So that is one of the biggest opportunity in the crushing industry. Then manufactured sand can be completely substituted for natural sand. Natural sand demand will go down. Ready-mix concretes will come up. So huge potential for the aggregates and the sand industry is what it is. Now when we come or the one other important thing which we want to focus is the introduction of 5G. Introduction of the 5G in this budget will help the OEMs and the machine manufacturers to connect all their equipments on a remote basis. This will in turn help the improvement of the performance of the machines, and this performance of the machine will help them to give more availability and performance and lesser downtime. So 5G introduction is also being a very prominent thing which is expected from this budget, which will help the construction industry. And national capital good policy, that is a very important thing. The in-house facility of developing capital goods has been given major focus. So that is also a very good take back from the budget. So these are a few updates from my end, basically for the budget, or basically from the budget or the latest development, which will be very promising for the 2023. Thank you.